Ladies and gentlemen, comic fans of all ages, please join me in welcoming my fantabulous co-host for the golden age of comics.
Oh, nice.
Look at that. Jack's in the house. Welcome, Jack, everybody.
Hello, Jack.
Jack, give him a round of applause. Give Jack a round of applause. How are y'all doing?
Okay.
You know I'm doing great. You know why?
Tell us why. Oh, boy.
You know why? I won't say anything else about it. I probably will, but not for a little moment anyway. Woo! Shelby. Oh.
Hey.
I just realized that Captain Larry and I must go to the same barber.
Well, for me, I'm a little bit under the weather right now, and I just kind of crawled out of bed because the show must go on, as a friend told me. So, yeah, here I am. Yeah, I picked up some sort of summertime flu bug in the last 24 hours, so I'm just kind of hanging out with you guys.
Man.
Well, thanks for joining despite that. I mean, you definitely go to bed right after we're done here.
Yeah, I'm not going to hang out with you guys.
Let's do proper intros. What's up, y'all? I'm Dr. Paul, Liberty Hill Comics. I'm here with my best pals to hang out with on a Sunday evening. I got Phantom Phil, Phantom Comics Studios on Instagram, and phantomcomicstudios.com. I got Captain Larry over at Flying L Comics on Instagram, and here on YouTube. And I got my main man and my co-author for this fantabulous book. Buy a copy on Amazon if you haven't yet. Dr. Shelby Thompson. He just prefers Shelby, ladies and gentlemen, of Shelby's Comics, Instagram, and also here on YouTube. We've got a show for you that's going to expose you to some things you haven't been exposed to before.
Please keep your clothes on.
It's going to be an exposure. Compliments of Shelby, who took inspiration from Daniel Hospidales' question regarding Centaur Comics and put together a little primer on Centaur Comics for us that we're going to chat about. I'm going to kind of do a little intro for it. But before we do that, we heard from Larry, Phil, Shelby. How are y'all doing?
I'm all right. I mean, nothing's changed in my life. Just been hanging out at the house, sending out applications, still trying to find that job. And Jack, why are you tearing the paper?
Cats and paper.
And yeah, but been doing a lot of writing and stuff. So not about comic books, so about other stuff. But anyway,
all kinds of stuff.
Man.
Yeah. How are you, Phil?
I'm doing swell. This is Sunday, so it's not the Conservation Live show. It's the Golden Age show. I'm looking forward to Shelby's segment on Centaur Comics. I know my one little, like, whenever I think of Centaur Comics, I think of a well-known dealer who probably 25 years ago was told by a good customer of theirs at a show once, like, all your Centaurs were like, you just put the price up like 4 times, like, you'll still sell. It was kind of like a joke, but it was basically like, these books are so rare. Any price you put them up for is undervalued. So it's.
I was looking at census populations for some of these books. I don't know if there's a single book with a census population over 30 for Centaur.
yeah.
They're ghosts. They're all ghosts. So I'm gonna steal the spotlight here for a moment, y'all. But just so I can show folks. This is a book that you've heard me talk about many, many times, The Golden Age of Comic Books by Richard O'Brien, I should say. Interestingly, Richard O'Brien defined the era as 1937 to 1945. For those of you that are trying to argue otherwise, like saying that the Golden Age goes to 1956, the beginning of the Silver Age. That notwithstanding, this book, one of my favorites, and one of my goals is to collect all these covers. So you can see there are these full-page reproductions of all these amazing Golden Age covers in here. There are exactly 40 of them. They are organized by the publisher. You'll see Larry's.
Yep.
Comic
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Nice.
Here of
And I saw 2 Centaur comics. You passed by the Keen Detective and Funny Pages, I think.
A Keen Eye. You may have been in a different era, a keen detective, Shelby, because right after the Archie, the MLJ, and the Hillman, the Victory Comics 1, there are actually 3 Centaur covers. So there's Keen Detective Funnies.
That's a good one.
Yeah, amazing, right? And there's Amazing Mystery Funny.
I didn't see that one. That's what
Yeah, well, I was flipping through pretty fast. And our thumbnail, Funny Pages, with the arrow. That's Centaur's entry into the archers of the Golden Age. One more thing before I hand the mic over to Shelby for good. Whew, do we want to talk about this?
Oh, very nice.
Oh man,
It is
Yeah,
Golden Age.
that's. I'd be very happy to see it top $1 million.
For those of you that don't know,
It's close
this
now.
is Heritage May Signature Auction catalog. If you are stupid like Larry and I, and you spend too much money there, they send you
Yeah,
one of these,
way too much money.
Yeah.
without you having to pay for it. Otherwise, you can buy this catalog for like about $20 or $50.
Yeah,
$50 you can buy it for. Featured on the cover, Action Comics #1, conserved 7.0. You can bet this will be one of our upcoming featured books on our conservation show very soon.
Paul, I just realized
I have a copy too.
Woo,
I just want to point this
yeah.
out. I'm
Oh,
disappointed because I was like, I spend money. What is this? This is not. How did I not? But you know what? I got the one you guys didn't get. I got the original art one because that's where I dropped my. So it actually makes.
Oh yeah.
It actually does
We don't-
make. I haven't bought a comic of value in enough years where they're not going to send me one of those, but they're like, "Don't you want to look at this?" So it's a bummer because that.
Don't you want to spend more than you should on this?
Yeah, and I'm like, yes, I will. But that cover there is great. Obviously, you put the Action 1 on the cover. Like that's a good. It's nice to be able to look at. It's not full 1-to-1, but it's still big enough to be able to have a nice copy of that. Heritage is cool sending those out.
So here's a thought for you guys. Action Comics 1 in 7.0 conserved in the same catalog. Tech 27. Is it a 6.0 or a 5.0? It's in that range. I think it's a 6.0, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been their cover book, and they chose Action 1 conserved 7.0. I think the Tech 27 is worth more. I guess. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out.
I guess we are.
But their decision to put that book on the cover over a Tech 27, a very nice universal grade Tech 27, to me, very telling. Thoughts?
It's a good highlight for a conserved book. It also could have just had to do with the consignor. Maybe they had a consignor that had a bunch of stuff, and that's why they, it could have been politics. But I get why it's an Action 1, and I understand. Maybe 20 years from now they'll look back and say that's crazy.
Well,
Active 27.
I think conserved books should be worth more than universal label because they're going to last longer. That's just my opinion, though.
Sure. Yeah.
If they've been deacidified only, I think that makes the most sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just trying to look up and see what the conservation of it what
Oh, I can tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't
It's not
don't
much.
do the
Cover
don't do
clean.
next show before the
Yeah.
show, Shelby.
Yeah, then we'll save that for the next show.
I'll hold off. Y'all can go do your own research.
Gonna be fascinating. A couple of books in that auction. I'm hoping go fly under the radar. We'll see how it goes. Before we go any further, let's thank this show's sponsors. If you're watching the show ad-free because you're watching it live, you have these gentlemen to thank. Jim Colleget, Daniel Hospedales, Don Carter, Collecting Chaos, You Pluck My Last Comic, and Gorilla Monkey 3K. We so much appreciate you. We appreciate all those in the live chat. I'm about to shout you out. So if you are lurking and haven't yet checked in, please do so that I can say hi. And here we go. The Professor Peter Alachi's here. Welcome. You Pluck My Last Comic. Thank you again for your support. Brittle Page Man is here. Squarebound Sorcerer is here. The aforementioned Don Carter with his evergreen support is here. Thank you. Rick Gomez is here. Jason the Archivist Adrift is here. Says Centaur rules. Well, we're going to find out. Gorilla Production 73 is also known as Gorilla Monkey 3K. Welcome and thank you. Collecting Chaos is here. Hey, we dragged out our intro, so you haven't missed a thing. Jason says, oh, we were going to get to this later. Who owns Centaur books? I only own one Centaur. Amazing Man 11. I would love to grab any of the Amazing Mystery Funny starring the Phantom of the Fair.
Oh, that's a good one.
Who wouldn't?
That is a
Jim,
good one.
thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
If
Jim.
you have not checked out Jim's work in the comic book conservation community on Facebook, please do so. It is regarding color matching paper for conservation. Thank you so much for the support, Jim. We appreciate you. We got a sponsor for next week's episode. Jason says, I wonder if the Heritage Comics will be worth money. You know,
Not
they
really.
sell afterward for like 15 to 20 bucks even. So there was something.
Mine
I don't know.
are
I
going
don't know
to the
long
recycling
term.
man.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
long term. I mean, you could, Captain, you could just throw them on eBay. They'll sell for 10, 15 bucks.
You think so? Yeah, I've just been putting them right into the
Go look at the
recycling.
past auctions.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, yeah, because I just blue bin the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
There it is. All right. That's our intro.
Yeah, and the Action Comics is already up to $712,000.
Is that with the buyer's premium or without?
That's with that's without.
No, that's no
Yeah,
buyer's
it's
premium,
at eight,
so.
eight something, I believe.
Yeah,
With
it's
the
good.
buyer's
It's close to $1 million
is
right now.
$869.
Yep.
Paul,
So
did
yeah,
you tell
it's
your wife
gonna
that you were
hit, it's
bidding
gonna
on
hit
that?
that 1 million,
Yeah.
and that's freaking awesome, right? A conservative book hitting
Hit a
$1
million,
million, man.
And
I hope we had something to do with it.
I like to be firsties and just get like a $1,000 bid in, Captain Larry. Then you can say you bid on it. You were right there.
That's true. You wouldn't be called a liar.
You just got sniped at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. By omission. Just that
All
other
right.
guy that won it.
That's going to be exciting, folks. Shelby.
All right. Well, I hope this isn't too boring. Anybody that knows me knows I love history. So this is really more of a discussion of the history of Centaur Publications, along with, the important areas, characters, artists, creators, and all that goes along with it. But yeah, it might be dull, might be exciting, probably dull, but it's gonna be a lot of history.
Well,
All right, hit me, Mr. Paul. All right, just a little bit of how Centaur came to be. They actually were around during the pulp era. We're going to look at some of those covers here in a second. But very little is known. I searched and searched and searched. I did research all week on this topic. And, there's just little to nothing known of that history. Centaur actually is made up of, and I want to say 3 companies. It's really made up of products from these companies. The first is Comics Magazine Company, who was formed, formed
sure
by William Cook and John Mahone. Both of them previously worked, William worked for National Allied, and then John worked for More Fun Comics. And they began their company with submitted stories from National Allied. Some say, this was kind of interesting in the history, some say it's in lieu of payment owed, while others say they just stole it, that people submitted stuff to National Allied, which later became DC, and they just took it and published it for themselves under the Comics Magazine Company. Part of that was actually a story by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, which was a 2-page story for Dr. Mystic in Comics Magazine #1, 1936. So before Superman. And it's considered the first caped hero and perhaps prototype for Superman. And I was actually thinking about this. 1936, you know, and we're going to see kind of a theme here in a second. There was no real idea of superheroes, right? And capes. And I was trying to think of any kind of caped character in the pulp age. And the only thing I could think of was like maybe a Zorro or something, you know, but that was really like, you know, like a Spanish cape type thing. But this idea of a full-length cape on a character, you know, I just wonder where they got that idea from, you know. We think of it as, you know, pretty normal, you know, Superman, Batman, etc., having capes, but I don't know. It was just something that really kind of struck me.
I'm going to give you a deep cut.
Yeah, do it.
I got one for you. The Scarlet Pimpernel.
When did he?
1903 in the play, 1905 in the novel.
But he also had one of those half-cut Spanish type of capes too, kind of like Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but he is caped, right?
Yeah. What about the who was the hero that he was in, like the penny farthing issues? It's like the banner was blue. I've seen CGC graded copies of these, and it almost looks like a prototype of like a Batman type character. I'm blanking on the name, but I'm pretty sure that character might have had a cape actually.
Yeah, and the Shadow, I don't think actually wore a cape. The Shadow wore kind of a long trench coat,
like a cowl
thing, I believe.
Yeah. My deep cut got Jeff Jack off the fence and into the comments. Ooh. Welcome. Scarlet Pimpernel also masked. Yep. Yeah.
So anyway, they published, or were the original publishers of Funny Picture Stories. That's one of those titles that ended up over at Centaur in 1936. And it was the appearance of the Clock, which is considered the first masked hero. So you have the first caped hero and the first masked hero with the Clock, which he kind of wore this cloth over his face.
The Clock, also known as the precursor to Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
The professor wants everyone to know Frank Costanza's lawyer wore a cape.
And so did Lando. So anyway, they sold and they stayed as a company, but they did end up selling the properties, Funny Pages and Funny Picture Stories to Old Time, which we'll get to in a minute. In the middle, we have Chesler Publications, which was owned by Harry A. Chesler. And the A actually stands for nothing, but if people asked him, he always said amazing. But they published Star Comics and Star Rangers, and they sold that to Old Time. They began publishing again in 1941, and then 44 to 45 under Dynamic Comics. All Time was, which was actually a combination of the names. So they took the U-L and the T-E-M of Ullman and Timerson and created the name All Time Publications. They were back around during the pulp age with great pulp books such as Silk Stocking Stories and High Heel Magazine.
Nice. Red Hood, welcome. Mama.
However, they only published the titles they had purchased from Chesler and Comic Magazine Company for 5 months and then sold those publications to Centaur. And thus, Centaur was formed by Joseph Hardy, Fred Gardner, but that name I'm going to talk about a little bit more here in a second, and then Raymond Kelly. They did publish more than 40 titles, hundreds of stories before ceasing publication in 1942. So only a 4 to 5 year period in which they were in business.
It's crazy. So much content that they put out. And they were just in this seminal era.
Did he have a cape though? I can't. I should look at a cover. I can't remember if Spring Hill Jack had a cape, but that's a nice.
Here's a good reference. Before Superman, superhumans of the Radium Age.
Ooh,
that's cool.
That sounds fun.
All right, so here's the pulp comics that Centaur put out. Only 4 issues of a title called Conflict. The first 2 issues were Pirates, and the second 2 issues were Cowboys. I love that first Conflict cover with the hand dripping blood and the shackle. 1933, dude. Could you imagine seeing on the pulp stands?
Captain Larry, here's your new CGC registry collection that you're going to chase.
Yeah, pulps.
No, you only need 4 issues. You can dominate, dude.
Oh, these are
but,
super rare.
Oh, yeah.
Super rare.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are going to be, hen's teeth there.
Yeah, I never even heard of this until I was doing the research. So let's kind of go through those publications from the other companies real quick.
I do like these first 2, especially the two color printing is really used to great effect here. I mean, they're much more dramatic than the other 2, and they're cheaper to produce, right? Like the 2 color printing, it really shows off the art so well.
Well, and again, and we're going to talk about this theme here right now is prior to really Superman, your genres were detective, pirates, I guess, westerns, funny animals, which of course came from newspaper strips and cartoons and things like that. And so you look here at Chesler's publications for a moment. This was the entirety of their publications, was 5 issues of Star Comics and Star Ranger Comics. And I love their logo. The logo is freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It's of an era.
Yeah.
Mick Power, welcome to the show.
Of course, some not very politically correct based on today, such as Star Comics number 3 and Star Comics number 5. But, we'll forgive them.
On a technical level, though, one thing that I've always noticed that kind of jumped out when I see this masthead, like I know that this is a Chesler just because I've looked at books enough. But one of the other signs that I can tell is the short list of artists that they had. And like when you look at this art on a technical level, even though a lot of these are like funny animal covers, the art is high quality. It's this is not that a lot of like the run-of-the-mill funny animal art you see, even like, not to throw Woody Woodpecker under the bus or something, but really if you compare the art quality of this stuff to stuff like that, this is such a high quality of draftsmanships, really.
Yeah. And that's actually interesting in terms of the inclusion in the O'Brien book. O'Brien, that book's published in the 70s, and it was almost like prognosticating the cover art driven market we have today, because O'Brien only picked covers with phenomenal artistry on the cover. And that's why there's so many Lou Fine covers. Yeah. And that's why there's the inclusion of some of these works from Centaur.
Yeah.
Go ahead to the next one there, and we'll look at Comics Magazine Company. So the Siegel and Schuster inclusion I talked about was the Comics Magazine #1, which I kind of made a little bit bigger there. And then right underneath that is the clock. So, like I said, he kind of had this drapery of a type of a mask, which is Funny Picture Stories #1. But yeah, this is the entirety of their run. Nothing to me remarkable jumped out at anything. You know, kind of the hijinks books is what I would call them. Now, I will make note that a couple of these books, I believe Phil has shown because he sacrificed, I think, the back of one of these for something, if I'm not mistaken. Funny Picture Stories #4 or 5.
The only on record thing I've ever sacrificed was a back cover to a more fun 40. It's the one that has the same back cover as Detective 29 because I had a
Okay. I was thinking it was one of these two, so I'm not sure why I'm recognizing those two so much. I may have seen them before.
Possibly.
I don't know. But we also see, you know, 1937, you see some war portrayal. You know, this is way before World War I and stuff. But again,
no, post World War I, but before World War II.
World War II. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, bad depiction of Japanese or Chinese in this case.
Yeah. Speaking of your mention of the genres, it is incredible how narrow the field was at that time. I mean, it was even before the creation of the FBI, so you didn't even have like a G-Men type, you know.
Right.
But I will point out one that was recurring was Canadian Mounties. And we do get a Mountie there in volume 1, number 5, third from the right on the bottom row there. A Canadian.
There's the Action Comics.
I mean, I do think you could probably bundle all of the. There's like a frontiersman is kind of a genre. But it's not
Jungle.
that much different than Western. Sure, Jungle. That's a good one.
Yep. All right, jump ahead there. And then the All Time, like I said, only published for 6 months. And you'll see this is a recurring theme. The numbering isn't consistent. For example, Star Comics began with number 7, which actually continued with the numbering from Chesler. Also, this is the day and age when every year was a volume. So you'll see like volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. And the numbering starting over. But yeah, with Funny Pages and Funny Picture Stories, they restarted the numbering, but they changed it to volume 2 to denote as their difference from Comics Magazine. And then they just continued the numbering with Star Comics and Star Ranger as what Chesler had. And I mean, besides just the beautiful logos, all of these have a really distinct look with like the white background and bright colors and such. I was just really fascinated, and I had to put all these on here.
The white background, that's so notable. I mean, aside from the technical artistic quality of the art, the fact that these all do have a white background is noteworthy because you don't really ever see that at all.
Oh, they're stunners.
No, they're great, and I don't think I've ever seen any of these books in my life.
No. How many series have hippopotami on the cover?
Yeah, right.
Jason points out there's no Tarzan type character, and we just mentioned jungle as a sort of genre at the time.
Now
they had all the others covered.
Tarzan, so Edgar Rice Burroughs, that would have still been novel.
There weren't really any even horror comic covers until like the mid to late 40s. So like, and Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein existed. So you'd think, wow, we could go for this popular genre, but it hadn't really taken off until I guess the monster movies, right? You know, the
1938,
and,
which would have been
exactly.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is right on that precipice.
Well, I think these have more in common with the funny pages from the Sunday newspapers than they do, you know, comics. And I guess when you think about those in terms of genres, Tarzan's first published in 29 in the funnies. But you know what else would have been published by now in the funnies also is a Buck Rogers type, you know, some kind of sci-fi adventurer.
Yeah. All right. So now we get to what we all came here for. And do any of y'all, like I just said, I've seen a few of these. Any of y'all got any of these? Chesler or Comics Mags or All Time? And I haven't done that right. All Time, All Team.
I would say Ultim. Ultim. Yeah. I thought you were just doing like a I'm from Louisiana. I say all kind of a pronunciation.
Tim.
Travis Moriarty, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Well, I will say I'll start. I don't own any of them, but one of my CGC registry collections is actually one that I created of these 40 O'Brien covers. So I've got 3 to chase down. Wish me luck. And I don't know if folks know this. You can create CGC registry collections for fun. There's competitive. I guess they call them competitive. And what is the other category? It's not non-competitive. But if you create your own, like you could just say the 12 books published the month I was born, or whatever you want to do. You can create your own registry collection. And I've created a registry collection. If I'm honest, I don't know if others can view that collection, or if others could say, "Hey, I'd like to also chase that," and if somehow then that could become a competitive registry collection. I don't know how that works. I was thinking I would keep it under the radar until I had them all on lockdown, so I'm not competing with all y'all knuckleheads on those super rare books. But this is a forum to entertain and to educate, so I guess I'm out there. I think I have 4 or 5 of the books slabbed, and I have a few others raw that will be getting slabbed hopefully this year. So I have a long way to go, and there's some gigantic books on that in the O'Brien. But those would be the 3 that I try to chase down. Let's see in the chat.
I mean, I don't even see. I was trying to even think when we were at Heritage last year if I even saw any of those there, and I can't place seeing any.
I mean, you wouldn't any of the ones we just saw there. It's unlikely you'd see the most prevalent ones that I've come across have been the Bill Everett Amazing Mystery Funnies covers. Those are ones that are people like to buy them and hold them, but those are ones too that are more publicly traded, I feel like, and most popular of the Chesler. So you see the one with the guy that's in chain and bondage with the eel snake in his mouth.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to those. Yeah. Those are Centaur. So these are the
forgive me. Let's dive in.
And so Jason, like I mentioned earlier, Chesler Dynamic. I noticed that some of the history is wrong. Is a lot of history will say these companies, one was purchased by the other, but that is not true. They stayed independent publishers and continued to publish. So Chesler started publishing under Dynamic Comics in 1944. What was purchased was the rights to the comics themselves, right? So Funny Pages was purchased, but the company itself was not purchased. That is
they sold their intellectual property. Yeah.
They only purchased the property, not the company. So that is some history that is out there. All right. So here we go, getting into the actual Centaur. I'm going to go year by year. So, like I said, Joseph Hardy was one of the owners. Now, what's funny is Hardy and Kelly, neither one was creators. They just simply owned the company. And, you know,
Shelby, just a second. We shockingly, we actually have one book in the chat. Jason's got Dynamic Comics 14.
So you technically own
amazing.
Chesler. All right.
Jason, follow up with what's the CGC census on that book? Sorry for the interruption, Shelby.
No. So unlike a lot of companies, you know, they were formed through creators or, you know, somebody that was kind of involved, but they were not. They just owned the company.
Yeah.
They jumped in on the bandwagon, or actually at this time they were creating the bandwagon almost, as seeing an opening in the market, and you know, formed their own company.
Well, at this point in history, the bandwagon was taking the funnies from the Sunday paper.
It was a lot of reprints and
putting them
things
into
like that, yeah.
sort of comic book format. So that was the bandwagon at the time. So in that regard, they were on the bandwagon. I guess if I'm thinking about it, you know, MC Gaines is a publisher, but not a creator. Somebody like Martin Goodman in, you know, later times, Stan's wife's cousin is a publisher, but not a creator himself. So
true. I mean, later on, I
tried
think,
and true.
but,
yeah.
But Joseph Hardy was there from the beginning in 1933, which is when Centaur began with the pulps. Raymond Kelly joined in 36 as business manager. They will go on to found Comic Corporation America in 1939. Even though we'll call them Centaur books, into the 1940s, you could also see them categorized as CCA, which stands for Comic Corporation of America. But we'll just call them Centaur for ease. Fred Gardner
from the Comics Code Authority.
That is different.
CCA.
Fred Gardner, said I was going to come back to. He's often cited as one of the co-owners, but I searched and searched and searched, and every place I searched said there's no history on this guy. Sometimes he's noted as a part owner, sometimes he's not. Other people that are sometimes noted as part owners is S.J. Freed and E.L. Angel. E.L. Angel is actually the wife of Warren Angel, who ran cable news and is believed to be Centaur's distributor. So there's not even history out there of whom was distributing Centaur. And that's one of the things that the history denotes as kind of the fall of Centaur is their lack of ability to distribute. So I didn't go deep into that because there's just not.
That would have to make E.L. Angel one of the first women in comics.
It was. I was going to comment on that. I thought that was very, very interesting.
Jason says 16 total, 15 universal, 1 qualified in the census for Dynamic Comics 14. This is what I'm saying. I didn't see any. There may be one, but I didn't see a single issue in the 30s in terms of the census. They were all fewer than 30.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So, of course, they began with publishing those 4 books that we just talked about: Funny Pages, Funny Picture Stories, Star Comics, and Star Rangers. A lot of the issues leaned on reprinted inventory from the previous 2 companies, Comics Magazine and Chesler. Now, in 1938, they started publishing Keen Detective Funnies. It launches with number 8. Again, the numbering is all over the place. There's no 1 through 7. Ran for 24 issues. They also did a short run of 4 issues of called Little Giant Comics. These were actually larger, slightly larger, so they don't really fit into what we think of as comic books. Now, the most notable thing was in 1938, the start of Amazing Mystery Funnies, number 1, which is Bill Everett's first nationally published comic work, being the cover. It ran for 24 issues, and we'll look at some of those in a second. And the Bill Everett covers are freaking beautiful.
They're amazing. What a talent.
Oh my God. And this is his first work, right? This is, and we're going to talk about some other creators too. This was their first work ever with Centaur.
What and people pay crazy money for like Malibu Sun or whatever, like one sketch
First font on the back cover,
one sketch from McFarlane in it. I mean, you probably for the same money could go find one of these. I mean, it might take you 2 decades, but you could. Welcome, Salesboy Comics. Hey, Dylan, what's up? It looks like Dylan's logged in on 2 different channels. Thanks. We appreciate you buffing our stats here. And
yes, because we are broadcasting on my Chan, and I'm sure Larry also. And then I'm going to butcher this name, but Lloyd Jacquet serves as art director and editor, and runs Funnies Inc., which was the packaging studio that supplied a lot of Centaur's content. So again, Hardy and Kelly just owned it. They had no interest in the creative part or anything, and other people kind of took over that, formed little studios, and that's the way things were done back then.
Wow. So it's interesting to see that part of the reason we don't even see a lot of these nowadays is because even back then there weren't a lot of them, and that's why they went out of business, because they were like, we can't even really get this operation off the ground and get these distributed. So I mean,
exactly.
Welcome, Metal Elf Collectibles. Thank you, Collecting Chaos, for the super chat. Very much appreciated.
Right. So let's look at some
sponsors now for next episode.
Let's look at some pictures.
Yeah, show us. There we go.
So I had to blow up this Amazing Mystery Funnies #1, and it even has his signature on the cover. I was looking through a lot of these covers. Almost all the covers on the top row is his artwork, and several of them has his signature on it, which was
not often done,
especially in later time and stuff. But yeah, look at that beautiful line art. Girl's leg and hand hanging over the edge, and oh my God, it's just
the one on the top right, the volume 2 #5, and in my opinion, it easily could be like a top 10 comic book cover of all time. It's a little hard to see from this photo, but I would tell people that aren't familiar with it, really go and look at it's a set of staircase. It's a staircase with a bunch of guys fall like it's, I don't know. I'm butchering doing a description of it right now, but it's a work of art disguised as a comic book cover. That's like the best way I can describe it. It really, it's unbelievable as a comic
right in the center of this publication, you see volume 2 #10.
Yeah.
That's that cover that I have to chase.
Yeah.
That I will enjoy chasing, that I am enjoying chasing, that I haven't found yet, but someday I hope to.
Yeah, I had gone back and forth of, I mean, there's so many great covers, and we would end up spending all the time just talking about these covers. But this is all 24 issues of Amazing Mystery Funnies, and God, I would love to have a few of these in my collection. So,
Jason says volume 2, 9 through 12. Well, you have to fight me for number 10, but I can't argue with you. And also volume 2, number 2.
Yeah, these are so great. All right, we got plenty to get through. So the superhero period. Oh my God, 1939. So someone mentioned this earlier. Phantom of the Fair debuts in Amazing Mystery Funnies #7. Is drawn by Paul Gustafson.
You could say that. I think it's normally just Gustafson.
And
if I'm not mistaken, it's later a creator that goes on and works for National later, right?
Yep. He does, I believe. Now, this was a tie-in to 1939's World's Fair. And later, this character will be reused and called Phantom Man in the 1940s.
Doesn't that have a World's Fair cover?
It does. It's right here. That's the one I'm showing on the side here.
Ah, okay. Oh,
So
yeah.
you can see
they
there on the
actually
back,
do more than
back
just
wall.
So the volume 2 number 10 cover, that's also a World's Fair cover. I mean, the World's Fair went on for a whole year, right? So I'm sure they were playing it up for a while. Yep.
And then one of those O'Brien books, if you notice at the top of the Keen Detective Funnies, it says The Masked Marvel. So The Masked Marvel debuted in Keen Detective Funnies number 7, which I think is actually the number 1. Wow. And what's kind of funny is he has some assistants called ZL, ZR, and ZY, which was kind of funny. In 1939, August, Speed Centaur debuted in Amazing Mystery Funnies number 8. That is over here on the side. That was created by Martin Kendall. Wow. Keldell?
I'm not sure.
And becomes a marquee character of the title. So you'll see Speed Centaur. Centaur Comics, Speed Centaur, of course, is going to be shown throughout the book. Now, probably what a lot of people know is the Arrow. The Arrow debuts in Funny Pages, Volume 2, number 10. We'll talk about that more here in just a second. And then Amazing Man debuts in Amazing Man Comics. There is no number 1 through 4. So Amazing Man Comics number 5 is the number 1. And then I'd never heard of this character, the Shark, debuts in Amazing Man Comics number 6, the Shark, son of Neptune, and is one of the earliest aquatic superheroes.
So what's really interesting to me about this is you have the Arrow debuting here September 39. You have the Shark, who's the son of Neptune, debuting October 39. DC gets around to ripping both of these characters off in one comic book about 7 years later in More Fun number 73, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's about 3 years later. What is it? Yeah, probably about 3 years later, I would guess.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
So in 1939, also we have Mini Midget and Ritty debuting in Amazing Man Comics number 5, and they're the first shrinking superheroes in comics.
Sure.
And I could not find any interiors showing them. I tried and I could not find any.
Yeah, because they're actually on all the covers. They're just so small you can't see them. So look at all of the concepts that are ripped off later by Marvel and DC, right?
Oh, yeah.
And even Quality. Like Quality has Dollman, I think, before. Help me out, folks, but DC or Marvel don't get shrinking heroes for quite a while. I think the earliest after this is Quality Comics Dollman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Probably.
This is seminal stuff right here. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Imitation.
So here is, and again, there is no number 1 through 6. This starts the Masked Marvel. So you can see all of the Keen Detective Funnies copies here, along with at number 20 with the eye there on the cover that Paul is going to have to get.
Yeah.
Number 23 is the first appearance of Airman, which is the first, I'm not sure flying, but you got to see where maybe a Hawkman came from. But
what? No, that's an original idea. Airman they'd never even seen the cover before. That was the first time.
Well, this is August 1940. Hawkman debuts in Flash Comics 1
in February,
around the same time.
It's February,
same time, yeah.
So Hawkman actually.
I didn't look up the dates or anything.
So this is actually a spoof on Hawkman. That's why they're like Airman. He's, I don't know, in the air.
Birdman was taken.
But a couple of things I want to point out again. 1939, you got a lot of war covers.
Yeah.
You've got a little bondage going on number 18 in top right. Just very interesting publisher, and also too, when you look up, I pulled all these from the Grand Comic database, and when you look at what is inside these books, it's like 20 something stories. These are thick books, and they're made up of like these 2 to 5 page stories.
Oh wow.
So very weird way to put it together. And then, like I said, there's 15 or 20 stories in every book. So you got your dime's worth for sure.
I guess so, yeah. I think that cover to number 20 with the eyeball, that should have been the cover to Judas Priest's album Screaming for Vengeance, right? Which opens with the Hellion Electric Eye.
It is just such a
Little
standard
inside
cover
reference
from this group, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
And
I
also,
feel like it's the standout here.
Yeah, and also notice too, what they did is excuse me, with issue 8, the second one, it's a magnifying glass with the circle for magnifying glass. Then they carry that circle all the way through.
Oh, snap. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's not a magnifying glass anymore, but they carry that circle motif all the way through for the next, 8 to 10 issues there. And again, I love when I see things kind of bursting out from the edges and stuff, right? Like with number 12 there. Yeah. Just seeing the head from the top of the circle and the body and the gun laying,
all these are master classes in illustration and layout.
It's great.
That's your keen detective ability there in noticing that, Shelby. I didn't.
Well, and then number 21, right, where he's coming from outside the circle into the circle. I was like, oh, I love
All right,
it.
at least one person appreciated my reference. Thank you. I knew I could count on you.
All right. And then funny pages lasted, as you can see, to number 42. So one of the longer running. And the reason why is because with volume 3, number 7 is the first appearance of the Arrow.
Yep.
And I think it might be on my other slide. Number 8, volume 2, number 10 is, I think, is the actual first appearance. Then his first cover appearance is volume 3, number 7. Yes, that's it. So, unceremoniously, just a funny book cover, but he appears off and on. But then his first cover appearance is volume 3, number 7, and pretty much continues throughout as a regular character and cover appearance, starting with number 10.
And these are obviously all, I'm joking about Green Arrow coming along in More Fun 73, but these are all basically, they're Robin Hood / William Tell type characters, right?
Yeah.
The cover that is featured in O'Brien is volume 4, number 1 there from, I guess it's January 1940. Yeah. Again, this is some early stuff, people.
Now, I do like... Go ahead, Phil.
This is just so early. It's just so early. I mean,
great.
This is, Marvel wasn't going yet. I mean, they started in 39, right? Batman just dropped. I mean, this is early.
If you compare the fourth from the bottom row left, issue 38, just the color scheme. The purple
I actually have
fire,
that highlighted.
that
So
one,
if you go to the next slide, I actually pulled out a
stand.
few of my favorites.
That's so ahead of its time.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I loved it.
That one, if you squint, it kind of looks like the same color scheme as like a Planet Comics.
Yeah,
from like the 50s,
I was thinking
almost.
the exact same thing. Almost the logo too is very Planet Comics like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, his costume shifts. He's supposed to be in a red costume, but sometimes it's blue, as we see here. The arrow is not on the cover of that number 38, but oh my God, like Phil said, I mean, my eye went straight to it. Look at the dragon thing in the background from the smoke, and oh my God,
it looks a bit like L.B. Cole.
Yeah, I didn't see that he was a creator of any of these books. And actually, once you kind of get past Bill Everett, there's not that many named creators that I saw in the history. And even when we going through the Grand Comic Books database, like I did jump into a few of the books to see, like, oh my God, like the cover to 38. Is there someone notable that's doing the creation in there? Nope.
Yeah. It's funny how some of the Chesler books too, that they
are
like, we don't even know
Paul Gustafson.
Yeah, Gustafson, you know, he's at Quality for a while. He actually created the Angel for Marvel Comics #1.
Yes.
And he's credited as the creator of the Arrow, but he goes on to work for DC and does work on Black Hawk and Action. He's published in Action Comics, and I don't know that he had a major creation over there. Maybe Freedom Fighters?
You know, not much of a DC history guy.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, the Arrow is widely considered the first costume hero published after Superman and the first Archer hero in comic books. So
too bad not featured on the cover of the first appearance.
Exactly. Yes. All right. I think I got a question for the group. Little interactive.
Oh.
So who do you think is cooler? The Arrow or Green Arrow? And I'll say that the Arrow is definitely cooler than Hawkeye. So, you know, you don't even have to mention him.
Blasphemy. What do we know about the backstory of the Arrow?
Does the Arrow kill people with his arrows? Is it like if
no? What's funny is he actually shoots notes at them. That says little things like, you know,
your breath smells.
You're going to be defeated. Blah blah blah. Right. So
try to get some deodorant.
Notes at them.
He taunts them with his arrows.
Stop beating your wife.
He doesn't have a boxing glove arrow. I don't see a concussion blast arrow.
I like this version more, I think, but the Green Arrow with his pledge and everything, I think is kind of. Oh no, that's Green Lantern, isn't it? Oh man,
that is, yes.
Darkest Day, Darkest Night.
The comic lore.
No trivia shall escape your sight.
I'm loving the Arrow, man. I'm loving the Arrow.
Yeah. Well, Green Arrow is also not on the cover of his first appearance, right? He first appears on cover, if I'm not mistaken, with the 7 soldiers over in Leading Comics #1.
Yeah.
So he shares that with the Arrow. I don't know anything about the Arrow, but I would say just visually more interesting to me, and less like William Tellish, right?
Yeah. So a couple of things you can see here. Go back to those covers real quick.
Oh, sure.
Is the I don't necessarily want to say the artistic quality, but if you notice, they have a lot of this almost looks like type print. So they don't even have letterers, right? They have you could buy these stencils and stuff, and you can just someone go through and it looks like a typewriter.
Sure.
But if you notice on these covers, you know that it's all not hand lettering and stuff, right? So
They
If you're
also were
old-
subtle.
If you're old like me or Shelby or Larry, you might have taken drafting class in high school.
Right.
And you actually learned to use
Yep.
these stencils to write these letters.
Yeah.
And that one we were talking about with like the flames and everything, they hid it in the guy's back. So instead of putting it in like a box that was white background that was jarring and standing out, they hid it within the image. Even on the issue to the right, they chose a color that kind of complemented the surrounding area, so it's not jarring. You still focus on the main guy. It's whereas like DC kind of was like, well, here's a big banner. It wasn't like they didn't really flush that out as much.
Chanko, welcome to the show. What's up,
Yeah,
Mike?
I think the covers
Rick
though
Gomez,
are great. I
welcome
think
to the
the
show.
interiors are probably lacking a lot. Kent, with like the 2-page, 5-page stories. I mean, I did look at the clock stories and stuff. It was pretty bad.
The
All
later
right.
version, Flavor Flav, also pretty bad.
All right.
Here we're to the
Amazing-
covers that you were talking about, Phil.
Yeah. So Amazing Man began in 1939, created by Bill Everett. And this is pretty funny or interesting in the history I was looking for. Amazing Man was researched, developed with input from his mother, Grace Everett, in collaboration with the creative director that we mentioned earlier that I can't pronounce the name of. And the second superhero to headline his own title after Superman. So before Batman, Amazing Man was the first or the second one. Some notables in there was in the same issue of Amazing Man number 5, because there is no 1 through 4. Carl Burgos, Iron Skull, Tarpey Mills, Catman, and then Paul Gustafson's War Drum series. And most of those run the 23-ish runs most of the issues. Of course, Carl, God, he's got to be young and just starting out, because he's most known for Famous Monsters, doing a lot of the painted artwork and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
With Famous Monsters.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
this cover to number 5/1 is pretty well known. That's one of the only books in
Probably the
here
most
that
popular
you see from time to time, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my, look at this. Collecting Chaos. We had 40 different lettering stencils in his drafting classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to learn how to freehand in my
That was
drafting
the
class.
precursor to drop down menus in Word that gave you different, fonts and Zafkadimbats.
We had font books we had to take with us. I mean, these things were huge, and it's only like 25 or 30 fonts. But yeah, that's the way you learned, was through that.
Can I point
but again,
out just one thing? Not to throw Centaur under the bus here, but wow, that might be one of the laziest consecutive within the same title swipe between issue 7 and 9. I mean, it's like they didn't even try to change. I mean, they changed just enough to say, yeah, it's technically different. But I looked at it, I was like, why did they double that? I was like, okay. Oh, come on.
I felt the same thing with a lot of those Arrow covers. Like, I felt like there's a lot of swipes going on across those covers.
Yeah.
The artist was like, there's only so many ways you can draw a bow, dude.
Yeah, it's more acceptable if it's the same artist. If it's a different artist, I'm kind of like, oh, come on. At least have tried to make it look like you didn't just copy this other guy's thing. Come on.
But you can actually see a good decline in the quality, right, from the earlier issues, that Bill Everett did, and then kind of declining as it goes along. But
I did not realize Amazing Man was the next. We did that whole thing on eponymous comic book titles, and I didn't realize this is the second one after Superman's title. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We have to thank
All right.
Daniel for the prompt to do this.
So here is the remainder of those. I had to show all of them. Again,
So it is
when
interesting
get
how you
to the-
said you weren't wrong. Like there was a decline, but it's almost like a decline versus some of the ones that are obviously standouts, like 22, which is like one of the most valuable non-superhero golden age comics that exists.
Yeah, that covers wild.
Sorry, I just
No, and you're right. I mean, the last two issues are horrible in terms of the art and stuff. But no, you have some standouts. I really like number 23. They actually end up reprinting that cover in a later book.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Number 15 reminds me a lot of like that Human Torch cover. But yeah, I got really thrown off by like 18 through 20 with like the yellow strip and everything across the side. I just, number 19, he's lifting a car like
nice.
Superman.
Yep. What's that Wonder Comics one?
Jason says, I thought Wonder Man was the second. Here we have
Wonder Man,
just steal the camera for a moment. In O'Brien, you have Wonder Comics number 1. Lucky for me, it's in the black and white section. I'm only collecting the color plates, but this is indicated as May of 1939. So not sure where that lines up with Amazing Man number 1.
I have the date, so go back and see what the date is.
September 39.
I don't know. So
So
they
maybe
said
not
there's about a 4-month. I don't know.
Yeah, but right in there. Great eye, Jason. Gorilla Production 73, Gorilla Monkey 3K, as will forever be known to me. Thank you for the super chat. Salesboy Comics, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you.
In Canadian.
Oh,
in
of
Moose,
course. Always.
in Moose
Always.
dollars.
Always. In loonies.
All right. So in 1939, Centaur Heroes, the Arrow, Amazing Man, Speed Centaur, Phantom of the Fair, the Shark. Which one would you like to see revived today?
I mean, the shark, I assume, is revived. The shark is just Jeff the Shark, right?
I'm not gonna sing that
Arrow,
song.
Amazing Man, Speed Centaur, Phantom. For me, it's got to be either the Arrow or Phantom of the Fair. And as Jason pointed out, Phantom of the Fair, this was sort of like Phantom of the Opera. It was Phantom of the World's Fair, which Jason corrected me and said it actually, the 1939 New York World's Fair went on for 2 years. And so they published that, you could attend the fair and then you could buy the comic, which I'm sure a lot of what was happening. I don't know. Visually, for me, the Arrow and Phantom of the Fair are the coolest. I'm probably going with Phantom of the Fair just visually, but if I haven't read any of them, so who knows which one's the coolest.
I think the Arrow has had some of the coolest ones, but I'm gonna be subversive and go with Speed Centaur because it's uncomfortable, and I think we should make centaurs cool again. And there's no centaurs anywhere. I mean, come on, why don't we
what's up with that?
And why not, right? Axe body
Except for those native commercials.
Yeah, it's like I don't even see them anymore.
Yeah, now one thing too is you can also see, and this is just me through my observation, is Centaur had distribution issues throughout their whole tenure as a company, or they didn't say it on his company, but as publishing comics. And so I see a lot of them trying to incentivize, so to speak, right? So the mix in with the World's Fair, right, to try and maybe boost sales
Sure.
numbers.
And that might have been their main distribution, might have been selling on
Might
the
have been.
concourse, you know,
Yeah.
at the World Fair.
And then you see a lot of the early war covers, like we saw some things all the way back from 1938, 1939. You know, and then you're going to see even more here as the 1940s comes about here in a second. But you know, they're looking for any kind of incentive to try to boost their sales and distribution. So, which seems like was always lacking through their history.
So we got 2 votes for Amazing Man. We got 2 votes for Phantom of the Fair. I threw in with Phantom. Phil went with Centaur Man. So I think
Speed
that's
Centaur.
I think
Come on, get it right.
And I'm voting on the
I was
shark.
just about to
I'm
say.
voting on the shark. So
Also,
you
I was
know.
just about to say, so Phantom of the Fair's in the lead, but then Jason came in with Amazing Man, which ties him up.
I'm gonna go with Phantom of the Fair just because I'm a Phantom. I mean, that's my real answer. So I gotta be biased there. So,
Rick Gomez
Phantom loves a
says
good
Arrow and
Phantom.
Amazing Man. Well, that puts Amazing Man up. But then you just voted Phantom, so they're both still tied. Amazing Man and Phantom are the runaway.
I'll break it. I'm going to say Amazing Man.
Oh, there you go. Oh, and Salesboy Dylan's with Amazing. So there you go. It's Amazing Man for the win with the handless snake eating.
All right. So they peaked one year and then they're going downhill after 1940. So this is actually when they switch over from Centaur to Comics Corporation of America. I'm not positive of why, and I couldn't find any reason why. They, you know, we still consider them Centaur books, and like I said, for this, we'll continue call them Centaur books. In the Grand Comic Books database, they call them Centaur books, but in some cases, you could see them listed as CCA, which is Comic Corporation of America. You know, it could be because whatever reason, maybe having to, I don't know. I'm not sure there was any bankruptcy or anything like that, but they did shift. So Phantom Man, which was formerly the Phantom of the World's Fair, gets his own book. It only lasts 3 issues. No number 1, started with number 2. Airman, which we saw
before we
earlier.
move on from Phantom Man, anybody else think they could have done a better logo than this in 8th grade?
I told you some of the quality really is lacking.
That logo looks like worse than the logo that teen kids were doing for fans.
It gets worse. It gets worse in a second, so don't worry.
It almost looks like a rival publishing company had someone on the end that sabotaged it. It was like, hey, make sure to make it look real bad, you know, because it's like there's no way that they willfully were like, oh yeah, print that. That looks good.
I mean, the Keen Detective Funny still looks pretty cool, and I think Mass Marvel's not too bad.
Yeah,
well,
so,
I think the
Phantom
Keen Detective is actually that's just from a.
It's the carryover.
Yeah. So Airman, which we mentioned earlier, that's actually an anti-gravity feathered suit with a jetpack that he has.
Sweet.
So
It's
he doesn't actually have
sweet.
wings; it's a suit.
I mean, that's visually like as interesting as Hawkman, isn't it? I don't know. I kind of dig it.
Masked Marvel, which we saw over in Keen, he gets his own title, but only for 3 issues. The Arrow gets his own title, but again, only 3 issues. They put out a comic called Super Spy, which only lasts 2 issues. So again, we're seeing them trying to do something right and expand from these anthology type books to their own books, but they're falling pretty quickly. Probably the one notable thing is in November of 1940, the Eye debuts in Detective Eye #1. That's created by Frank Thomas, and it's a floating, flaming, disembodied eyeball.
Yeah.
as the hero, and we'll see some covers of that.
That's the Hellion Electric Eye. That's
Yeah.
um,
Also in November.
but you said Frank Thomas. You mean like the Big Hurt?
No,
I didn't realize he was also a comic book creator.
no. And I couldn't find out if he was related to like Roy Thomas or something like that. I don't think he is. But
no, probably not. Pretty common name.
Wham Comics, not to be confused with the band, was put out in November 1940, and it lasted only 2 issues.
Issue 3 was Publish Me Before You Go, and it never made it.
Yeah. And then December 1940, Centaur Publications actually ceases, and like I said, it continues under the sister company, Comics Corporation of America. But everybody still calls them Centaur, so we'll just continue with that.
Roll with
so, man, these things are so bad. The Arrow, I mean, the covers are okay. I don't like
the cover's not too bad.
Detective Eye, I mean, I don't know, man. But again, I'm not a fan of that strip down the side. Super Spy, someone's getting too cute. It makes it look like a $sign, and then Wham Comics. These are bad.
It's that strip. I think the strip really kind of kills the visual eye.
It does. Yeah. It does.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Arrow, the 2 Arrow covers that don't have the strip are actually still pretty good.
Yeah.
And the switch to the red and green costume is
interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And then
Jason, I appreciate
the red and yellow by the 3rd issue.
It's kind of grinchy looking.
Right.
So I do like the Super Spy number 2. It's like a lady laid out in the road with an ambulance about to run over her, that just with a motorcycle and the guy jumping in. It's just crazy, man. Crazy.
If that was a different title and it was published in 1949 and it was like part of the pre-code stuff, it would go for, I mean, I'm sure it goes for a good amount of money too, but yeah, that's strip. And the Super Spy font at the top.
Yeah. And then the Detective Eye, I don't know, dude. I just, a floating eyeball.
I like that. That's like a beholder.
Well, okay, so these are all the later ones, and Shelby doesn't care for them very much.
Oh, it gets worse. I mean, I'm complaining now, but it actually gets a little worse.
Shall we?
Please.
Are you setting up our expectations? Oh boy, I guess so, huh?
So here's the end of Centaur Publications.
An ignoble death.
Oh, in 1931, Stars and Stripes Comics number 2. There was no number 1.
Carrying on with the theme.
Carried on with the theme. And it's just reprints. It's a patriotic anthology featuring Amazing Man, but a lot of it's reprints from earlier stuff. Liberty Scouts of America, which ended up being renamed Liberty Guard of America because the Boy Scouts got pissed off at them. World famous Heroes magazine runs for 4 issues. We'll look at those in a second. Man of War Comics, which was done by Paul Gustafson, but these are bad. And then Amazing Man 26 was the final Centaur Superheroes lines. In 1942, CMO Comics are just 2 issues, and those are giveaway through Chicago mail order. That's why it's called CMO, Chicago mail order. And again, they're trying anything. They've lost distribution by this point, and now they're trying to do mail order. In mid-1942, the line folds. Again, causes poor distribution. Some say also wartime paper rationing. Not editorial weakness, right? Which we talked about is that, these people weren't from necessarily the, comics or creative community. They were,
They
You
were
know,
publishers.
yeah,
they were in
publishers.
business to publish. Yeah.
However, the Comics Corporation of America did continue publishing non-comic titles afterwards. So a few of the bad ones. I don't even know how to say it. Kaki?
That would just be
Khaki.
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 Like
Khaki
the
Comics.
dude.
Pilots,
So-
Pilates.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Khaki Comics number one. Khaki Comics number one. And if you look, there's actually a reprint. That same cover is used in an earlier Amazing Man comic.
Yeah, we recognize the cover. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Khaki Humor number one. And these were focused towards GIs. So again, they're trying anything they can to stay alive, right? World's Fair, now focusing. You probably can't read it, but that one down at the bottom is Eek Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, EEK, Eek Comics.
It's
And
like you.
that
Yeah. I mean, for those that don't know, so khaki is the original camouflage, right? That was those were the BDUs of the day at the beginning of World War II.
Yeah, and then Gurr Comics, which has a GI on the cover, and you can't see it, but I'll explain it to you. So the sergeant comes in, and he's looking really pissed off, and the GI is huddled up in his bed, and it took me forever to figure out why the sergeant is mad at him until I realized there's the GI's boots next to the bed, along with some women's slippers. So either he's cross-dressing or he's hiding something else underneath those covers.
It's Klinger.
Oh.
It's the first Klinger reference.
So,
Oh man.
all right, let's finish this thing out.
Yep.
Stars and Stripes Comics, again, they reprint the same thing over
A third
again.
time?
Yes.
Wow.
No wonder I recognize that.
Yeah,
image.
same.
That's
I
like
was
one of the
gonna say.
few that I recognize, but it's because it was used on 3 books.
Wow.
And then most of these are all reprints of Amazing Man stories and stuff. I will say I kind of like number 6. I don't know. It's really bad, but I kind of like it.
Just the faces.
Also, do like the world famous Heroes magazine. Again, military oriented, push towards the GIs and stuff, but
Yeah, their demographic changed clearly. You know, it was yep.
So, but again, very short lived.
Collecting Chaos. I want to say Stan Lee referenced this a few times.
Yeah.
Like that some publishers would start with a number 2 because they wanted somebody potentially considering buying the book to think that it had already had a successful issue number 1, right?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. And then to wind it out, Liberty Scouts, again, reprints. And then if you notice, when they had to switch to Liberty Guard, all they did was reprint
The cover again.
Wow.
Wow.
Man of War, the number 1 isn't bad, but number 2 looks like it's done with colored pencils.
Yeah. They both look like they were made like underground comics.
Yeah.
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 Or
And
fans.
then I don't hate CMO. It kind of gives you that Planet Comics vibe a little bit.
Yeah. The first one anyway. Yeah.
Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Liberty Scouts and Liberty Guard. I mean, yeah.
I mean, if those COMs are those the very last ones?
Yes.
Because that kind of to me
Centaur Comics.
it's kind of poetic because to me the artistic style there kind of goes full circle back to the Star Comics. I think it looks
Frontier and funny animal stuff.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
Well, the number 2 is a Western, so it's a stagecoach going off the edge of a cliff with the horses. I mean, it's great artwork. It's really great artwork. And then the number 1 is a person escaping from prison and kid flying in and stuff. So I don't hate those. I'd love to add those to my collection.
There you
But
go.
that is-
There's your registry collection. Shelby, just 2 books.
2 books.
Full
All
on.
right. So a little bit about the legacy of Centaur. So some of the creators associated with Centaur, we talked about Bill Everett, of course, later went on to create Namor. Paul Gustafson, which we talked a lot about throughout this. Carl Burgos, which I mentioned. Tarpe Mills, which also went on later to create Miss Fury, the first superhero heroine. Frank Thomas created the Eye. He's also known for creating the Owl at Dell Comics.
The owl is really cool, guys. Like visually, very cool. We should do.
Yeah, I have the Owl comics in my collection.
Cool. Yeah.
Martin Kendall created Speed Centaur. Lloyd Jacquet, like I said, was the creative art director. He also founded Funny Inks, and then he and Bill Everett, together. And then Basil Wolverton also contributed work later in the Centaur run. I couldn't figure out what, unless I went through every single comic book in the Grand Comic Book Database to find what he contributed to. But there's a footnote I found, but I couldn't figure out what he actually contributed to. Now, Basil Wolverton, of course, is Famous Monsters fame too, but also Mad Magazine.
Yeah. I didn't put it together until just now, but of course, Bill Everett writes and draws the Submariner for Marvel Comics #1. One of the other stories in that same issue is the introduction of the Arrow by Paul the Angel by Paul Gustafson.
Yep.
Yeah, they were all in the same studio. That was run by Lloyd Jacquet. Legacy, the dot shouldn't be there. So Centaur characters have lapsed in the public domain. So, of course, in 1992, Malibu Comics tried to revive the roster as the Protectors, and written by R.A. Jones. It included Amazing Man, the Arrow, the Clock, Phantom Man, renamed Gravestone because why not? The Ferret, Man of War, Masked Marvel, renamed Night Mask, Mighty Man, and Prince Zardi, the Shark, renamed Thresher because that sounds so much cooler in the 90s. And Airman.
Well, Thresher is a kind of shark, right? There's a kind of shark called a Thresher shark, right?
Yeah, it's part of the.
Although I'm with you, just if the shark was available, just take the shark.
Yeah, I mean, just the masthead type font. I just see Youngblood. Like I don't see it just says Youngblood. That's all I see.
It is. That's what I was thinking too.
Man,
Except better art. I'll admit these covers look a lot better proportional.
True. I mean, I don't see a bunch of pouches, and I mean, I don't see feet here, but I'd imagine this artist could maybe draft feet. So not to say that there's other artists that couldn't like bifold, but anyway.
Yeah, and then Amazing Man's Tibetan monk origin is widely cited as the influence for Marvel's Iron Man, and Roy Thomas actually
Iron Fist.
Sorry. And Roy Thomas actually confirmed this in Marvel Premiere number 15, which was the first appearance of Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm. Kung Lun. How does it work when they lapse into the public domain and then somebody writes the Protectors? Now, they don't have another 50 years sort of claim on these characters.
No.
They would have their own copyright on the slight changes. Like now you can't.
Exactly.
You can't call somebody the Thresher for 50 years, but you can write the Shark stories. Like any of us could, right?
Yeah.
Like we could revive these characters, right?
That's kind of a way
once it goes into the
maintain
any character
too.
in the public domain can be picked up. I mean, Disney picked up Little Mermaid. I mean, that wasn't a Disney character. Same thing.
Yep.
But that also means that. But my point is this: can I now publish the Little Mermaid? I can, as long as it's not drawing on DC's new, rather Disney's new content, right? As long as I'm drawing on the original content.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you pull from the original
Yep.
work, then you can do that. But if you do anything that is even closely related, you can get sued.
Okay, so we're gonna do a new team featuring these characters and publish it under Liberty Hill Press, Shelby.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know
All
what I'll
right.
contribute, but it'll be cool.
That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's it. Everything you
Great
probably
Nice job, Shelby.
never knew and
Nice.
probably never wanted to know about Centaur Publications.
Thank you, Shelby.
That was amazing.
Quite a lot of information.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I don't know. I didn't see Daniel here in the chat, I don't think, but thank you, Daniel, for the suggestion
Yeah.
to do.
I mean, of course, it's going to be big because, I do have a PhD and I did write a book. So
Yeah.
that was only half as long as this damn book.
Well, I thought the pace flowed well. I didn't think that bogged down or was slow at all, personally.
No, it went good.
Hopefully everybody thought it was interesting. We didn't really have a drop off.
No, it's good.
I usually monitor the live viewers, and I'll give guys a little feedback in the chat if it's bogging down. But I thought that was paced really well, Shelby. Very interesting.
Yep.
I would have loved to see a few more of those covers big, and maybe in the future we'll come back to some of them. Let us know what y'all think.
Yeah, I was using the Grand Comic Book Database, and they're not necessarily known for their high res images and stuff.
Yeah. I think we could have done slides of like 3 at a time and just gone through them pretty quickly. But, like I said, I think that's a good one to come back to in the future. This was a great overview. I mean, I also like to see the whole series laid out like that. I think that's great.
Yeah, it is always.
I stole that from Phil. When I saw Phil do that, I was like, "Oh, dude, I gotta lay it out like Phil did."
Yeah.
But yeah, we could go back and just look at like the Bill Everett covers and stuff, right? Because
that one with the staircase battle, really, you got everyone check it out if you haven't seen it.
That feels Conan, like sort of Robert E. Howard-esque to me. That image,
like the ragdoll effects of the people as they're laying on the stairs, and you look like that's the stuff you're like, it's a work of art. If you saw it blown up on a wall in a museum, you wouldn't think twice about it. So.
You know who studied that was George Perez. And he brought it back like in the 70s and 80s, where he would have the entire Justice League laid out, or
it's like a Renaissance
new Teen Titans laid out. And he studied that, what you're saying, like that ragdoll effect of them just being kind of flattened. Well, I think we should wrap up with that. Let's do some of our administrative duties here. Again, let's thank the sponsors of this episode. If you watch this live, you got to see it without ads. Thanks to Jim Collegier, Daniel Hospedales, Don Carter, Collecting Chaos. You plucked my last comic, Gorilla Monkey 3K. Next episode, Jim Collegier again, Collecting Chaos, Gorilla Monkey 3K, and Salesboy Comics. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you if you joined us live for contributing to the chat. We appreciate it. It makes it a lot more fun. Looks like a few folks were kind of lurking. JCP is here. Billy Pilgrim is here. Thank you all so much for joining in.
Leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment about what your favorite Centaur comic is, or leave a comment about what you think the worst cover is, because there's quite a few in the later ones. Not to throw the title on the bus. There's some stinkers. So really, if you want to post your favorite stinker, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, or what you would like to add to your collection. I mean, I know that I picked out a few that, like, wow, if I ever see those in the wild or something, I mean, those Bill Everett covers. Oh my God, I have never seen those.
The gas mask
and to just go through them while I was researching this was just, I mean, just the fluidity and simplicity of his art was just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yep. I think I missed Crypt 12. Welcome. And so leave us a comment as Phil said, give the show a thumbs up. Come visit us in the Facebook if you're a boomer. We have the comic book conservation community, very active. Many of the people you see here in the chat are producing content. It's amazing. Go check it out. Whether you watch this live or catch us on demand, we appreciate you. And coming
next
soon-
Sunday will be the Action Comics #1 show.
No, I don't think it'll be.
We will be
next
we will be
Sunday.
talking about that.
It ends in 3 days. It ends in 3
ends
days.
before the show. Okay, maybe.
I got to get my
I
bid
guess it
in
will
for
be. I guess I'm putting that segment together. All right, A Block next week. That'll be me. Come join us then. Until then, take care of one another.
See you later, everybody.